And now I'm joined by Craig Gilbert to get the latest out of Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us, Craig. Wanted to find out a little bit more about what's happening with the Senate confirmation hearings. What can you tell us?
So the Senate has confirmed 8 cabinet picks of Donald Trump so far. A lot of Democratic opposition. I mean, Tammy Baldwin, the Democratic senator from Wisconsin, has voted for exactly half of those 8 cabinet picks. She's voted for 4. She's opposed 4. And she's also announced her opposition to, I believe, 3 more upcoming that haven't had a vote yet. But she's pretty emblematic of the really sharp and broad level of dissent that Donald Trump's cabinet picks are eliciting from Democrats. I mean, this is partly kind of a reflection of the rising partisanship and polarization of the Senate. It's also probably a reflection of the change in rules where now there's no longer a 60-vote bar. The Democrats got rid of that for cabinet picks. So it allows a president to make bolder cabinet picks, and it also allows Democrats to a freer hand in opposing them. In this case, Democrats know that they can't stop any of these people. The closest they came was Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, who had 2, because 2 Republicans dissented and voted against her. It was a 50-50 vote that, for the first time ever in history, had to be broken on a cabinet choice by a vice president.
And you're looking at Wisconsin's Congressional Delegation and what incentives they have or pressures to either side with or break from Trump. What can you tell us about what you're seeing?
Yeah, when you look over or move over from the Senate to the House, and we've got 5 Republican lawmakers and 3 Democratic lawmakers, and it's interesting when you look at how their districts voted for president. House Republicans have been very unified so far. It's early, but very unified behind Donald Trump. We may not see too many cracks in that unity for a while. One reason is Republican voters are very unified behind Donald Trump right now, even though he's underwater in terms of his approval ratings overall. He's got his best ever approval ratings from Republican voters. So if you're a Republican congressman, one fear in opposing Trump is bringing on the wrath of Republican voters and maybe inviting a primary challenge. But there are differences from district to district. I mean, this is the first presidential election I can ever remember where Jim Sensenbrenner's congressional district did not provide the best margins for a Republican president. In this case, Sean Duffy's did, which was reflects the huge shift in kind of rural areas toward Trump. So Jim Sensenbrenner maybe have a little more freedom than maybe he would have had in the past. Paul Ryan vastly outperformed Donald Trump in his district, and Donald Trump margin in Paul Ryan's district was the smallest of any Republican congressman. So Paul Ryan may have a little more latitude when it comes to Donald Trump, but he's also under heavy pressure as House Speaker to present a unified front. And finally, the one Democrat, Ron Kind in Wisconsin, whose district was carried by Donald Trump, one of only 12 Democrats in the country whose districts were carried by Donald Trump, faces an interesting set of cross pressures because, again, his district narrowly voted for Donald Trump. But Democrats in his district are going to pressure him to oppose Donald Trump at every turn. So he's probably the most cross-pressured lawmaker out there from the Wisconsin delegation.
Right. There are still some actually competitive congressional districts out there, I guess. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and talk to you soon.
Okay, next time.
Thanks.